What's the Focus Founders? Today we're going to be talking about cash. Now, people ask me all the time, hey, why do I need cash in my bank? I feel weird having it in there and I'm not spending it on the things I need to spend it on, okay? And so it's a great question. Why have more cash in the bank? Well, the more cash you have in the bank, the more confidence, certainty you're going to have about the future of your company, the future of your employees, the future of your customers getting the value they need delivered to them. There was a time where I remember Bill Gates had this issue. I don't know him, but I heard this story. He had this issue of cash, wondering, hey, if his business could make it. And that led to a lot of anxiety. And this anxiety would rack through his body. And he went to Warren Buffett and said, hey, Warren Buffett, what do I do? I feel super anxious. And Warren Buffett told him one thing: have 12 months of your runway, how much you spend every month, have 12 months of that in the bank, and your anxiety will go down. Bill Gates did that. Obviously, you saw what happened after he did that. He didn't let that anxiety stop him, but he structurally figured out how to get over what was affecting him. And so cash is going to do a lot of things for you. It's going to give confidence, certainty, remove anxiety, remove fear, remove doubt. It's hard to argue with cash in your bank. It's hard to see that you're not actually getting things done when the cash is going up consistently. So we want to give you a process to be able to go through that. So the first thing that stops people from having enough cash in the bank is how they think about structure. Okay, structurally, there's usually something wrong in your business that's stopping you from accumulating cash every month. Your cash is not going up every single month inside of your business. Okay, and there's a couple different components of that structure. If you're not growing your business really fast, you usually probably know this intuitively or deep down inside, you're not paying attention to one of the three things that, really build up into that belief of structure that you need to have to increase the cash consistently in your bank all the time, every day, every month, over the next 5-10 years. Okay. The first one is velocity, the velocity at which you make money when you spend it. Okay. There's a gap between when you spend money to acquire a customer to when you make money. And the closer that gets, the happier you are and the more profitable your company can be and the more cash you can have. So what does that mean? If you spend $1,000 in the beginning of the month and you make $5,000 at the end of the month, that's pretty good velocity. If you spend $1,000 in the beginning of a week, you make $5,000 at the end of the week, it's much better velocity. You're going to notice your confidence go significantly. If you can spend $5,000 in the morning and make $25,000 by nighttime, now we get a different level of belief of how much cash you should have and what you can do with that cash. The velocity at which you can make money will change how much cash you have in the bank. This is the first thing I implement in any startup that we interact with, whether they're doing a couple $100,000 a year or tens of millions of dollars a year. We make sure that they increase the velocity at which their cash comes in and out. And people call this cash cycles. You can look it up. There's a lot of different accounting terms for this. Velocity is absolutely key. Number two is ownership. Maybe you have the velocity, maybe you can put money in, get money out, but people in your business, maybe you, aren't really paying attention to where the money's going. You're not putting a stake in the ground and saying, hey, we need to have this much cash in the bank. Now, why does that happen? Why do people not put a stake in the ground? Well, one, some people are just not used to having ownership. Okay, maybe they grew up in a family or an environment where ownership wasn't as necessary as some of the other of you. There's probably other people out there that, it was absolutely necessary to have ownership. And if you didn't have the ownership, I'd have been kicked out of certain groups or environments that you were in. Those people tend to do better. We want to make sure without that trauma of, fear of being kicked out of a group, you can still have that ownership, put that stake in the ground. Now, what actually puts that stake in the ground outside of trauma? Well, it's having a future that's interesting enough and exciting enough to save money for. If you are not, people call it visioning. I don't want to call it visioning. If you're not imagining what's going to happen in the future and building up positive feelings about a better reality for you that's out there, you're not going to want to save cash in the bank. And the simplest explanation for this is when people tell me that they don't want to do more strategic things because they feel like if they're not doing the busy work, time goes by too slow. And when they do the busy work, time goes by faster. And then that kind of causes an unhealthy relationship with work where you're just finding things to do to just amuse yourself. But the best place to be, and this is what I tell everybody, and they completely agree, the best place to be is when you're doing extremely meaningful work and time is going really slow. That's really how to live a good life. That's really how to have more energy at the end of the day. Have more energy when you leave work than when you come into it. How to take that energy in to your friends, your family, the love, your hobbies, whatever the love you have in your life, to really have that go throughout the day, not just have your company, your startup, whatever you're working on right now, be the sole focus of you, but also take away your ability to pay attention. Right? I want to make sure you can live a slower life with massive meaning and joy and excitement. If you're not able to imagine that future right now, practicing imagining that future is the only way to get there. You have to put yourself in these mental states so that way you believe in a future that's better and slower and happier. So you'll save enough money and so that way you can invest in creating that future. Okay. Having that number of how much cash you require to get to that future is your freedom. Defining that, deciding on that right now, which you can do in a second, is how you guarantee that freedom moving forward. Now, this is all about cash. I want to make sure that you're able to get as much cash as possible in your life and you know why it's important. So if you have any questions, any comments, anything at all, please just comment below. Whether you're watching on YouTube or school or one of our platforms, just comment below. Let us know what you're struggling with. Let us know what you're successful at. And I wish you the very best in this journey. And I hope you understand why cash will help you on the way.